A lot of times when we're interacting with, say, data within our applications that maybe we've read into a file, we'd like to filter through that data and select only the objects in, say, a collection that meet some sort of criteria that we're looking for. So let's go ahead and this is kind of in between the serialization and deserialization process. It's in the idea that, okay, maybe we've read in some data, we want to now do something with it. Filtering might be one thing that we're going to do with it, sorting another, updating individual objects, but we're now processing and interacting with the data within our application. Here's some ways to go about that, and then we'll talk about how to actually write this back or update, say, our movies.csv file thereafter. But let's say we've read in our a collection of movies, the Gone with the Wind and Casablanca from this CSV file. So we're now at this point. And let's say I'm curious in terms of, okay, we have this collection of movies and I want to have a subset of those movies. I want only the movies that are of the G rating. Maybe I'm watching a movie with younger family member or something. So let's see what movies we have that meet this criteria. I'm going to store this filtered movie, so the group of movie objects or a copy thereof that meet my criteria in a new vector. I'm going to call it G movies just because it's going to store the movies with the G rating. Next, I'm going to iterate through each element of my movies vector. So from start to essentially through the last element in that collection, I'm going to copy an individual movie object into G movies. And you can think about this as saying, I'm going to push it back to G movies only if the movie object that I'm currently looking at. So if we're going from the first the first movie object in my collection to the last, first time through, M is going to be Gone with the Wind. After we visited that element, the next movie would be Casablanca. But you can kind of read this as for each movie in the collection, if that movie's rating is G, I'm going to push that movie back to my G movies vector. At the end of this statement, I have G movies, which is going to be a copy of all elements in movies, so a copy that meet my criteria that their rating is G. So after I've executed this line, G movies would look as follows. It would be a vector of one movie object because only one movie within my collection has the rating of G, Gone with the Wind. Notice that this conditional here governs whether or not a movie is pushed back into G movie. I could change this to look at some other criteria. I could say if ims.id is equal to 1, push it back to G movies. If the ID is not equal to 2, push it back to G movies. I could do something like if the release date is, and this would take a little bit more because it's a string comparison here, but you could do something like filtering for all movies with a release date less than something specified. You could also go ahead and take this and say all movies within a particular range. All of this is possible by updating the conditional within this, what's known as a lambda function. But for now, all you need to do is look at this and realize, okay, the standard library, and this is going to be an algorithm. Copy if is in algorithm, is, okay, I have this function called copy if. I need to say that I want to look at every movie in my collection. So from the first movie through the end movie, I'm going to go ahead and specify some criteria using this weird syntax, which essentially says for each movie in that collection. So first time through, that guy gets bind there. Second time through, Casablanca's bind to M. We return some sort of conditional. If that condition evaluates to true, we can go ahead and insert that object into this new vector. And that's how this is kind of working. So filtering is one thing that's kind of common. We might insert in or read in rather to our program a bunch of data into some sort of collection. So we've deserialized it. Now we want to do something with it. Well, a natural first thing we might want to do is only look at some sort of subset of that data. And filtering is going to allow us to do that.